Session 4. Understanding Privilege Levels. In Session 3, Setting up a new user, we created a new user account and assigned a privilege level to that user which defined the areas of Care Agency Manager that they would have access to. In our example, there was only one privilege level to choose from, Privilege Level 1, which allowed full access to the system. You may of course wish to create other privilege levels, allowing access only to specific areas of the system depending on the user's role within your organization. However, we would recommend that you are fully familiar with Care Agency Manager before creating detailed privilege levels. In this session, we're going to take a look at how privilege levels work by creating a basic privilege level which provides only limited access. In order to set up a new privilege level, we need to go into the Utilities section by clicking on the Utilities button at the right of the main menu, and from there to the blue cube Utilities menu by clicking the button at the bottom right of the Utilities screen, and enter the system password. The Standard Utilities tab contains a number of different icons. We can click on the Privilege Levels icon in order to create a new privilege level. Once again, the system password must be entered. We are now looking at the privilege level 1, which was previously created and which allows full access to the software. We can edit an existing privilege level by clicking on the Edit button at the bottom right of the screen. Notice that the Full System Access box has been ticked. Ticking this box gives all users who are assigned this privilege level full access to all aspects of the Care Agency Manager system. If we untick this box, we can deny access to any part of the application. Now we must individually tick all of the software sections we wish to allow access to. However, rather than continue to edit this record, as we want to retain a full system access privilege level, we will now cancel what we are doing without saving the changes we have made, so that we can then create a new privilege level which will allow only limited access to the application. Remember that clicking on the Cancel button cancels what you are doing without saving any changes that you have made. Privilege Level 1, Full System Access, will remain unchanged. We are now going to click on the New button to create a new privilege level which we will call Minimum Access. We will also assign the number 2 to this new privilege level. We can now define how this privilege level will work by ticking all of the parts of the software we wish to allow access to. For example, we have decided to allow users who have this level of privilege access to the care attendance database. Therefore, we could tick the CA access box, as shown, and then tick the part of that database users may access. In this example, we have actually allowed users who are assigned this privilege level full access to the care attendance database. If this is what we intend, we could simply tick the CA full access box, rather than have to tick each individual item. Let's start again. If we wish to give users who are assigned this privilege level full access to the Care Attendance menu, we can simply tick the CA Full Access box. Notice that ticking the CA Full Access box automatically ticks the CA Access box. We now want to allow the same level of privilege in respect of the client's database. We will decide not to tick any of the items in the Supplier Details Access section, which means that users who are assigned this privilege level will be denied access to suppliers' information. Now we can move on to look at the other software sections. The next tab to the right is the Sales Accounts menu. We will decide not to tick any of the items in the Sales Accounts menu section, which means that users who are assigned this privilege level will be denied access to the Sales Accounts menu section. The next tab to the right is the Purchase Accounts menu. Once again, we will decide not to tick any of the items in the Purchase Accounts menu tab, as we do not wish users who are assigned this privilege level to have access to this information. The next tab to the right is employee details. Again, we can deny access to employee information by choosing not to tick any of the items in this menu. The Reports menu is the next tab to the right. We have decided that users who are assigned this privilege level will require access to certain reports, and we can allow access to these reports by ticking the box to the left of the report name we wish to allow access to. We will now look at the upper tier of tabs, starting at the main menu located at the top right of the screen. This tier of tabs will move down as soon as one is selected. We will decide to deny access to the financial information, period setup, and the utilities sections of the software. We will allow access to all other parts of the main menu by ticking each of these items individually. The next tab to the right is the CA Scheduler Client CurScheduler. We will decide that users who are assigned this privilege level will need full access to all of the scheduling information. However, although we have allowed full access to all scheduling information, we do not wish users who are assigned this privilege level to be able to view the actual pay or invoice rates that would normally be displayed along with scheduled visit times in the schedule entry screens. We can deny access to this information by ticking the box Hide the rate figures on these screens at the bottom of the list of options for both schedulers. The next tab to the right is Data Tables. It is unlikely that users with this level of privilege will require access to all of the data tables, so we'll only allow access to certain data tables by ticking the boxes to the left of the data table names we wish to allow access to. The last tab to the right is the Graphical Diary. We will learn more about scheduling in diaries in a later session, but for now we can decide to allow users who are assigned this privilege level access to the Properties section of the Graphical Diary and to the facility to maintain visits. We have now finished setting up our new privilege level and can now save this record by clicking on the Save button at the bottom right of the screen, and then exit back to the Utilities menu screen by clicking the Exit button. We are now back in the Blue Cube Utilities menu. To see the effect that applying the new minimum access privilege level will have, we are now going to apply this new privilege level to the user account we created in session 3, setting up a new user. Since we are still in the Blue Cube Utilities menu, we can click on the User Setup icon to access the user management screen. Again, we must enter the system password in order to gain access to this utility. We can select the user Janice Smith, the user code we created in session 3, by selecting it from the user code list. We can click on the Edit button to edit this record. This user currently has the privilege level 1 assigned, which is the full system access privilege level. Let's apply the new minimum access privilege level to this user by selecting it from the drop-down list. We can click on the Save button to save the changes we have made to this record and click the Exit button to exit back to the main menu. We need to exit from the software and log in again using this user account to see the effect of applying the new minimum access privilege level. To log on as the user Janice Smith, we need to enter the appropriate username and password. We can now see what happens when we try to access parts of the system that we have denied access to for users with this privilege level. This concludes Session 4, Understanding Privilege Levels.